Good morning, everybody. I would like to call the Thursday, December 11th meeting of the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission to order. If you could all stand, please, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Gina, roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling.
Present.
Commissioner Brand.
Here.
Commissioner Henry.
Here.
Mr. Adams.
Here.
Mr. Wrigley.
Here.
Ms. Green.
Here. We have the minutes from the November 13th, 2025 meeting. I noticed on these minutes, it does, at the top of it, instead of saying minutes, it says the agenda for the November 13th meeting. That's the only thing I noticed. If anyone else has anything. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda, or minutes, sorry.
So moved. Second, as amended.
As amended. Motion a second, roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling.
Yes.
Commissioner Brand.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Mr. Wrigley.
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Tabled business. I do not see Mr. Hudson in the audience today.
Motion to remove from the table. Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Brand, second by Mr. Kiesling. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling.
Yes.
Commissioner Brand.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Mr. Wrigley.
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes.
I'd like to deny this request. Second.
Was that Shannon on the second? Okay, motion by Commissioner Brand, second by Commissioner Henry. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling.
Yes.
Commissioner Brand.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Mr. Wrigley.
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Okay, moving on in the agenda, item number 5 on the agenda is EMA radio replacement request. Mr. Cummings, good morning.
Good morning, Fred Cummings, 911 Director. So I'm here today to talk to you about a project that has to be undertaken for the entire county. It's the radio replacement for the 911 center. Today's dollars, the estimated replacement cost is $2.025 million. And this system runs the entire county. And it will come to end of life. Our current system will come to end of life in 2030. So my ask is for assistance in funding this project, because on top of this project, we will also have a phone system replacement around the same time in 2030. That will, my estimate is probably $1.5 to $2 million for that. Unfortunately, the county is in a position where finding this funding is going to be incredibly difficult. So I was asked before I came here to come up with some kind of an ask from the Redevelopment Commission. In an ideal world, I would ask for a commitment of $500,000 a year for the next 4 years, because we then could enter into the contract with Motorola at today's pricing. My fear is the longer that this goes on, the more expensive the project's going to be. My estimate is it could increase $500,000 to $1 million in the next 3 years. The other thing that we're running into is that many places throughout the country are going to go through this same transition that we have to go through. If we wait until 2030, not only will the price increase, but we're going to compete with many other places in the country for limited equipment. So if this is approved, we can enter into a contract with Motorola and start the actual engineering and replacement before it comes to end of life. This is something that benefits the entire county. It is literally our radio infrastructure that we communicate with everybody with. And as I explained to Commissioner Henry and Commissioner Brand, this was an incredibly hard ask, but we're running out of options because of the financial position the county's in. This is something that we can't go without.
So when you say that this is used by the entire county, I'm assuming that you mean law enforcement, EMA,
Correct.
fire.
Everybody. It is our radio system.
And that is for
the city of Muncie, all of the small towns that have police departments and first responders. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have you asked any of those agencies for their support?
I have not, because this is not something, I mean, Muncie pays us $1 million a year, a little over $1 million a year for dispatch service. We have a duty as a county to provide that. And this is a system that the county is responsible for. Regardless of whether we stop dispatching a small town or the city of Muncie, we still have a duty to have this radio system. It's not something that we can operate without. I think by statute, we have a duty to provide the dispatching service through the county. And I don't see any formula that would be feasible to try to ask from different small towns and everything else. We've talked before about doing contracts for actual dispatching service and got incredible pushback, and counties told us they couldn't do it, or towns told us they couldn't do it. I mean, that's a discussion that's way above me. That's a commissioner level decision. But this actual system is something that we can't afford to go without. We would cease to be able to function.
Well, I'm not insinuating that we go without it, not even remotely. I think that because it's not really a one-time thing, but it's not something that would be a yearly cost, such as a contract for 911 services. That's a completely different conversation. I think approaching those small towns would not be a terrible idea.
When you say end of life, what is that, a licensing thing? Is that
No? So the way that the state of Indiana only contracts with Motorola. That's the only vendor that's allowed to use the statewide radio system. So we can't go to another vendor, because typically when you replace radios, like you have end user radios, which are portables and mobiles and stuff like that police officers carry or have in their cars. You can bid those out to other companies that do it and do some comparison shopping. Okay, but Motorola holds the contract for the state of Indiana. There's no other vendor that can put their infrastructure and their radio equipment into the state of Indiana system. So it's basically a monopoly. End of life means they will not support it anymore. And in my history, that typically happens every 15 to 18 years. I wasn't here when the original radio system was done. Okay. But it is not uncommon for them to go end of life. They just don't support them anymore. I mean, the sheriff's department, several small towns are facing that right now with their portables and their handhelds and mobile radios, because they're at end of life and they're no longer supported, and now they have to try to figure out how to replace those financially, and that's a huge cost. I mean, a portable radio for one officer is anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 each. So you're talking, if you look countywide, it's millions of dollars. That's the other part of this, is that because some of these small towns are and I know the city of Muncie as well, face replacing portables and mobiles. That's their in my opinion, that's their contribution to the system to make sure that it works okay. We have the duty to provide the infrastructure itself, and that's what this is.
Do you have, you're gonna have to have engineering done, correct?
Yeah, Motorola will do the engineering. It's, in talking to our radio guy, it's pretty straightforward, because we already have the Motorola system. Basically what this is going to do is it's going to replace all the consoles in the dispatch center, and all the infrastructure upstairs, hardware, software, and included in this 2.025 million, I believe, and I know you remember this, but is also the maintenance for it. I think it's for 10 years. Don't quote me on that. I don't have it right in front of me, but so in the past, when they replaced this radio system before, the commissioners, I know Shannon knows this, the commissioners did it out of edit, but did it on a they split the maintenance over 10 years. And so it got paid over a 10-year period. There's a huge increased cost by doing that. So of hundreds of thousands of dollars, because obviously they're going to make their money regardless, and they're going to charge you on top of that. So the the ask here is is to get the money so that we can start that process at today's dollars and not get into the $3.5 million range when we have a drop dead date and then still not have the money.
So I think President Green has a point that, the city has an operations agreement, not necessarily a capital replacement, which is what this sounds like along with the towns. It sounds like this wasn't presented to the county council for this upcoming year's budget as part of the general fund, but we don't know what the actual cost is yet. Like, it needs engineered is what it, like, that seems to be step one. And the sooner we do that.
That's kind of my thought too.
Yeah,
Let's-
it's like, we
let's
need to
see what
engineer it.
an engineering cost. Let's see what the engineering cost would be.
They gave us the engineering, the quote includes all the engineering. It's 2.025 million.
Do you know what just the engineering cost is out of that?
I don't. It's Motorola. I don't know if you ever dealt with them. Motorola is incredibly difficult to deal with. I can try to get them to break out the engineering costs, but I don't know if they will. I don't. I know I have a lot of experience with Motorola. I know Shannon does too. They're not the easiest to deal with.
They're not, and quite frankly, it's the reason why the state shouldn't just say, hey, we got to use Motorola, right? Or this would be $2.5 million. It would be. See if we can get an engineering cost so we can start somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, a separate. I mean,
Is your quote
I think
itemized at all?
It's itemized equipment. They include the way they do it is they include their engineering costs in the whole proposal. I don't know that they actually have ever broken it out, so that would be an interesting conversation, but I don't know truthfully, I don't know how much engineering actually goes into it. They know what this system entails. So
So do we, I guess, and I'm following up with you, Commissioner Henry, is it more we want like a detailed, like, it sounds like we have a wide ballpark of what it could be, and we're trying to understand more what's asked. And if I'm understanding as well, Fred, the towns, fire departments, that is not including their radios. This is just,
no, that's not,
Guts
this
and
is
the 911
literally the
center.
infrastructure that sits in the 911 center that actually runs the whole thing. And the towns inevitably, as well as the city of Muncie, I know they have replaced some radios like for the fire department and stuff like that. The towns are gonna have an astronomical amount of money that they're gonna have to spend over the next 5 years to replace their radios. It's unfortunate.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. In the past, the county they've received grant money
That's what I was just getting ready to ask.
that has helped the towns and the city and the county replace their portable radios because they're so expensive.
And there are no grants currently to do the infrastructure like we're doing, unfortunately, because that would be an ideal situation.
so in the other question of no good deed, if you replace this, we'll say this year, do the existing radios still work with the other system?
They will.
So we're
They
not
will.
gonna create a problem for
You're
the
not
city.
going to create a problem. What I'm trying to
Towns.
avoid is, and I did brief the county council on this a couple months ago, that this was coming down the pike, right? So what you're doing is you're not competing with everybody else that has to replace this throughout the country in the next 5 years. My goal when I talked to Commissioner Henry originally was to have this done by 2029. And this would solve that because we could enter into a contract with them. And as long as they offer that type of payment structure where we could pay X amount of dollars for the next 4 years and get the system done in that time period at today's dollars. That's what I'm most concerned about is I have a lot of history with Motorola and I have a lot of history with radio equipment. And I know that today's money for Motorola, because they are what I call a monopoly, and they buy companies just so that they can have other stuff, so that they don't have to compete. I estimate, it's my estimation based on what I've seen trending, that this will go over $3.5 million in 4 years. I'm trying to avoid that because it's incredibly expensive.
Does this board have copies of the quote?
If it's not, I can forward them to you. Absolutely.
I think I want to see a detailed copy of that. So
Okay.
if it's not detailed, get a hold of Motorola and get it detailed and see if there is any kind of a engineering
I will ask them. I'll call my rep today.
If
but-
there's some big engineering part of that that we could look at potentially first.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We need a motion to table and request Fred to come back with details.
I think so.
I'll give you whatever you need. This is one of the most important things that we do, so.
I think maybe in addition to that quote, if you could also find out exactly what they need to enter into a contract to lock in current pricing. I mean, at least
I agree.
like within the relatively near future. I don't know where you're getting your estimation on price increases. Do they do that yearly? Is it, but if
Well,
you
they'll
can
never
find
actually
out.
tell you that. I'm just telling you.
I kind of figured
based
that.
on
That's
my
why
history,
I said
this
it the
is
way
what
that
they
I
do.
did. But if you could find out exactly what they would require to lock in current pricing, along with sending us the
Yeah,
contract.
see,
I
see
think
what
that
kind of
would be-
agreement they would need.
Absolutely.
Is
I will
it
do that.
possible to replace the radio system and not replace the whole console, not replace everything? I mean, what you're proposing is basically replacing everything, right?
Yeah, you have to. When I say consoles, the end user, the dispatcher themselves, it's literally a computer screen and that's it. It's everything upstairs. It all has to be replaced at the same time, unfortunately.
Motion to table.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Brand, second by Mr. Kiesling. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggley,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Cummings.
Thank you.
And just for the, minutes, that's not EMA, it would be just the 911 center or something of that nature.
Moving on in the agenda, number 6, Liberty Perry Schools playground request. Good morning.
Good morning, I'm Heath Dudley, Director of Operations of Liberty Perry Community Schools. This is Miss Amy Everhart, our Director of Special Education. Our request is a little unique. We are asking and looking, well, we are not looking to build an inclusive playground. We 100% are going to build one. We have a couple of students who will be flowing into our district that will have these needs. So it kind of started out as a process where it was going to be a single swing. After I came into this position and met the mother of the family and had discussions with her, I started learning of locally in Delaware County, there are a few places with individual pieces for those types of access for families of that, but not a full area. So, along with Mrs. Everhart and myself, we kind of started going pie in the sky, have communicated some of these ideas with Mr. Brand, Commissioner Brand, and have gone through some efforts. So we have $100,000 locally that we're going to dedicate, that we're going to have a nice structure of some type. However, after accumulating some quotes from different companies, we have one national quote for you there, the Game Time proposals, and a local company out of Pendleton, Connecticut. We saw that to have a very, very, very nice one, it was going to be somewhere 150 to 200,000. So basically what in my mind is I'm trying to gather as many resources as possible to possibly get us from 100,000 to 200,000. So I do not have a specific dollar amount that I would ask for. If you want to give me 100,000 to get me straight to 200,000, that would be phenomenal. However, I understand the process. And we do have other, I've met with Jacob Thomas over here, the head grant writer. He's going to help us with some additional grants. I know we're more than likely going to secure the community. We had a Lilly Scholar from our school district, so we'll get 5,000 from them. There's a program called Patronicity that connects. It's kind of like a crowdfunding, a GoFund. You put it out online, people can contribute, and it connects with the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority. So it's matching. and that can go anywhere all the way up to 50,000, and they'll match 50,000. So we're going to launch that in March. So I'm pretty confident, Jacob's pretty confident, that we would like to get to 200,000. The reason that I would come to you guys, I think it could be a nice space for all of Delaware County. It would be accessible to the public, obviously, during non-school hours. We have sidewalks, handicap accessible, that would be able to get to the space. And I think there's a large number of our community members that do travel to Noblesville and places further away to access the full setting versus the individual pieces that we have in McCullough and the smaller individual pieces we have in Daleville. But to our knowledge, it's pretty lacking in our area. So our ask is, any contributions that you guys would be able to provide would be super, we'd love it. And we're looking to start this project this summer.
Reading the materials that were provided to us recently, on page 3, it indicates there's about $80,000 in grant funds in addition to what you guys have, but also indicates those are available until October 25th or until the grants are no longer available. I'm assuming this is from the company. Are we confident on that 80 grand being there? I mean, I'm rounding.
Yeah, they will. We've talked to them. They say that that's a grant program. I think it's more of them trying to get rid of older equipment, and they word it as, so you do get benefit out of it, but it's not an official, like, I have to write a grant. But yes, they're still good on this, even though the wording says October. Yes, that's game time.
Okay.
So the Kinetic, that's the game time is the national company. The Kinetic is more local, so there's no grant support whatsoever inside of that. And so even with the grant for those game times, the quotes that you see, the 206 and the 151 for the game times, that's with the grant included. So those are the dollar amounts regardless. And then the total amounts on Kinetic are handwritten. I forgot to copy a back page. I apologize.
All right.
Actually, my daughter, who is my intern, forgot to copy the back page. So sorry. I'll be sure to let her know that today.
And this is helping me. So for clarification, you have a couple quotes, and one's at 158.
Yes, I kind of broke them down, not knowing where we would get to. I know I didn't provide the 100,000 because we don't need money if we build the 100,000. I got one for 150 and one for 200,000, depending upon, which level I can get to is what we're gonna go with, basically.
Can you go over to the microphone, please? Thanks.
The difference between the 150 from Kinetic and the 200 from Kinetic is really the ground structure. So that is what we're finding at a lot of accessible playgrounds. The playground equipment is accessible, but the access getting to the playground is difficult. It's often mulch, which is not, our idea behind this playground, right, is that the wheelchair can go up on the playground as just completely accessible. So that is why we're really trying to get to that 200, because that's what's going to separate us. That the playground ground is going to be accessible, the equipment is going to be accessible, that, students are going to be access all parts of the playground and not be limited to certain parts of the equipment.
The timing of this kind of is a little bit ahead of that subdivision that's coming to the Sportsplex. I believe that's in cooperation with the city, the county, and the schools. Is that?
Yes.
That's several hundred houses, I believe.
Yes.
Would the school market this to try to attract families and students to Delaware County?
It certainly would, I would think, to have something of that nature. And even if it didn't attract them to that, anybody could use it. Randolph County's nearby, so there aren't a ton of those full inclusive structures around. Obviously you start getting her down around Hamilton County and those areas, they start popping up a little bit, but there are not too many around this area. So yeah, I would think that if you were a family and looking to relocate or had, in close proximity, it would be something that would stand out.
And if you start this project next spring, summer, when would you need the money?
I mean, if we knew that I just need to be able to commit to these companies to be able to break ground. So full payment wouldn't be due until the end of the project, which we would hope to be ready for the school year of next August. So break ground as soon as school is out, hopefully be done midsummer.
Is one of these brands between Kinetic and Game Time have you noticed, and this might be a better question for Amy, is one more accessible than the other? Do you have a preference? Is one better?
I mean, obviously, I guess the way we went, it got started honestly with Game Time. That's where this came. They have spent a lot of time helping us develop this playground. Like, we've looked at all pieces to make sure it's, friendly for all abilities, not just those in wheelchairs, but that there's components to each piece. So that's where we started with Game Time. They kind of gave us the research behind it. And then obviously we would like to spend our dollars locally if we can. So we were trying to find a comparable. So really we're looking at the same types of structures. We were just trying to keep the money closer.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because I would preferably like to see this spent in Indiana.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if there was a big difference between either of them.
Nope.
Okay.
Question for council. We cannot supplement this with Creed, correct? Because it's likely further than 5 miles from our Creed. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you had to pick of all the quotes, which one would be the total?
I'd say Kinetic for 206.
No, Kinetic's 197. So Kinetic's the local, and that's,
And that gets everything.
that gets
The-
everything,
the
like
school
everything
need.
that we would dream of having and would like, for Delaware County to be able to have and access.
And again, we see residential growth coming to the Liberty Perry schools in the very foreseeable future with the housing coming, and I think it adds to the attraction. More comes to which TIF, Commissioner Brand, you're probably looking at.
And this is accessible basically all the time outside of school hours, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's been a
Unless we
while
had some
since I've
sort
been
of-
there.
What's
I
that?
remember.
Yeah. 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 And we actually do have, in some of my conversations and talking to Commissioner Brand, we actually, Amber, you might remember this, the back side of the elementary, it's going to be in a great location for families, even outside of our school district, but even inside the school day, it's going to be in a great location for the teachers and the students that will need to access it. It's right in between the two. There's, the little playground for the little children, and then kind of the third, fourth, and fifth grade, and it'll go right on the corner of two sidewalks that adjoin that both have ramps at each end to get to. So it'll be in a great location as well, and pretty visible to the public as well. So
our thought with that location too is, again, this as the special ed coordinator out there, inclusive is important to us. So gen ed peers and special ed students will be on the same playground. So they will have access to the K2, like our teachers will be able to supervise our K2 and this inclusive playground, so that students will be able to go between the two playgrounds during their recess. So both gen ed peers and special ed students will be able to utilize this playground. And then the same with the location, they will be able, it's between the two. So 3 through 5, when they're at recess, can use the current structure as well as this structure.
How many special needs kids do they have at Liberty Perry enrolled right now? Do you know?
254.
254?
Now that does include anyone, that just has articulation. They're working on their R's.
Okay. So I guess, and
Can you narrow that
you might
down
be able to
to,
help me. So the class that Albany has that has 15 to 20 severely handicapped
Yeah.
so kids in it. I mean, I guess that's wheelchair bound children. I mean, severely handicapped.
So currently, so we also have a preschool setting. So that's currently where our student that is in a wheelchair is in. So off the top of my head, I could look up specific numbers on my phone if you wanted, but off the top of my head, I'm guessing in our PK program, we have about, I know we evaluated 10 plus maybe 14. Some of those have transitioned to kindergarten. In our K-5 classroom, I probably have about 14. And then in my middle school, high school classroom, I mean, probably pretty similar numbers.
I think Delaware Community Schools is dealing with this as well.
Well,
And-
we are. It started to become more of a hot topic, as you well know, I'm sure. And the problem becomes, like, for example, when you're a school corporation and you have 3 elementaries and you have some children in each one of those buildings, I mean, there comes a point where parents and patrons are going to start to ask. And it's like, when you talk about inclusion, it's about being able to provide services for those kids at every one of those elementaries. It's extremely expensive, as you can see, just for what they're trying to do. Imagine as a school corporation trying to tackle that same type thing on every one of these elementaries where you have these playgrounds. So I feel for you. I understand exactly, sitting on a school board myself, the things that you have to go through and the limited amount of funds and so forth to try to do this. These playgrounds are very expensive for many reasons due to the safety factor. She's exactly right about trying to bring in. It's not about maybe the apparatus that you have for them to get on, but you got to get them to the apparatus. And so it really is a bigger thing, I think, than what most people realize, trying to deal with this from a school level, trying to find those funds and trying to make it up. So to be honest, most of all of our schools probably in Delaware County would need something similar to this. Just to provide services to those students that they have in their own building. But it's tough to tackle such a thing at the cost that it is in today's world.
So I know a lot of schools typically put in like an adaptive swing on their playgrounds. And honestly, that's where we started. Our student is wheelchair bound. So then it was a matter of transferring the student. You know, how can we do that safely? Then you have weather conditions. We found that a lot of those adaptive swings end up missing straps. So then and we are wanting to open this to the community. So if the straps go missing, then the swing becomes no longer usable. So then we looked at an actual platform swing that they could just put their wheelchair directly on that swing. And that situation, we were basically said it's kind of a liability if we use that type of swing because other kids are going to use that inappropriately. So that's when our shift went to more of the playground setting. But I would say a lot of schools probably start with that swing component. Those are just kind of that process that we have gone through.
for the board's knowledge, we have unencumbered funds available. If we decided to move forward with this, we could pull funds from the following 3 TIFs. The Magna TIF, not the Magna Industrial. So the Magna TIF, the Midwest Metal TIF, and the PRL, the Progress Rail TIF. So we would have available unencumbered funds to pull from those 3.
The school currently has 100,000 committed of the 197 they need. And then there's what I heard was an expression of a willingness to close whatever gap there is. But when we start doing those $5,000, those patronosity stuff, it becomes really hard, really fast. And we're always optimistic, but it's
Right.
a lot of work when we start doing those smaller contributions towards it. Thank you.
Any other thoughts?
I don't have any additional questions or comments.
I don't know either. I don't know, honestly, it breaks my heart, these kids and these situations and the families dealing with this. I have a child across the street who's severely handicapped, and I see those parents struggle with that child all the time, and it's heartbreaking. And you want to give the kids the same. Try to make their life, I guess, as normal as everyone else's, and but then I hate to say let's do this, and then we get all the school corporations start coming in asking for money for this type of situation. Maybe it's a thing where we could do this, and the school corporation could reach out to the others and say, hey, we have this available if you want to bring some kids over during the day.
Like a regionalized approach.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be great if that could happen. And I think other school corporations may be willing to try to allow that. I put Johnny here. Just to give the kids something. I drive through Albany and I see that class and those kids. The teachers and the aides try to keep those kids active and take them to the local stores, and they do a fabulous job with those kids. But I feel bad sometimes because they have to struggle. There's no sidewalks, and they're trying to push the kids through the grass, and I feel bad for them. But I think if you guys would promise to make this a regional playground and reach out to the other school corporations, I'd be willing to help.
One of the things I really appreciate about this ask and your approach is even without the crowdfunding that you mentioned, you said your favorite quote, your preferable quote is kinetic at 197,696.50. So with your $100,000, you're already ponying up more than 50%. You've mentioned the desire to start a crowdfunding campaign, which I think is an excellent idea. But to Mr. Kiesling's point, you kind of are in a guessing game with that. How long do you leave it open? How much are people going to contribute? What's the match going to be? So I really like that you came to us with skin in the game. I'm partial to this project because I'm a Liberty Perry grad. Amy was actually my high school cheerleading coach. So this is kind of personal to me, but I also understand that we are stewards of the county's money in general. But I really like what Commissioner Henry stated. I think this could be a regional opportunity if Liberty Perry were to view it that way and make sure it moves forward in that manner.
Yeah, I think anyone in my role, where I meet regularly with the other directors, personally I meet with Delta Amy Larrabee, Heather Siebold at Yorktown. We also meet with Blackford. Our district is actually part of a co-op out of Randolph County, but because they're different resources, right? Like I also partner. So we definitely all try to work closely together just in our roles in general. We're often the sole bean, so we definitely collaborate a lot, and we are definitely open to that.
I kind of lean towards, we have sufficient balances in the TIS. If you guys want to fundraise for straps and replacement stuff, but Commissioner Henry, to your point, accessible to all the county, regional, with the housing coming to Liberty Perry, people may choose to locate in the Sports Plus housing when it's built because the school district has that appeal. If I don't have the TIF balances in front of me, Commissioner Brand, do we have the 97, 696, 50 between those three TIFs?
Oh yeah, we certainly do. One creative option would be to commit $60,000 today, $20,000 from each of the TIFs, with a contingency of another $30,000, provided that Liberty Perry can't raise the additional funds. And if they come back to us, whatever they can't raise, we would have a contingency to pull equally from those three TIFs, the Magna, the Midwest, and the PRL TIF.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Have a Before a second, do you have a deadline where we say, hey, by this date, we will?
By the time they have to kick off their contract.
So we were planning on kicking that off in March. We were suggested to start it sometime in March and not leave it open longer than about 30 days. They say the longer you leave them open, the harder it is. You want like a sense of urgency. So I would assume we could probably come back late March, possibly, or first of the month, April. That would also give me time to, because like I said, I'm pretty confident we're going to get some smaller $5,000 here and there, to be able to give you the difference. If, hopefully we have the full 30,000 and you guys can keep that as well. But I certainly would not be opposed to either of those ideas. The other school corporations in the county accessing it, and, coming back to report if we do still have a deficit of that additional 30,000. That'd be fantastic. And I think between working with Molly Hardy, with the Community Foundation, and Jacob, as well, I think we'll make some decent headway. And trying to find people that I know some people won't be able to, through their organizations, give to the patronicity, but anybody that can give it to that way it doubles. So, if we can get a couple, $2,000-$3,000 that actually turn into $6,000, if they're able to do it that route, that'll shrink that gap pretty quick. So that'd be fantastic.
I will second your motion. Make sure you come back if you're short. Okay.
Motion by Commissioner Brand and second by Commissioner Henry. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, number 7 on the agenda, L&J Manufacturing Solutions request, Justin Clausen.
Good morning. My name is Justin Clausen. I'm the owner of L&J Manufacturing Solutions. I'm here today to try to see if we can get some help with our project here. We're actually in Muncie at 1001 South Council Street. We have started a business there, building and selling turnkey compression rubber molding equipment, which has morphed into running parts. So as of June, we will be running parts for the Italian military, and we'll create in excess of, 30 jobs total. That being said, we also have other customers throughout the United States, and we are very strapped. So we've done a lot of infrastructure work to our building there on 1001 South Council Street, but we still needed to do a 2,000 square foot expansion, add more sprinklers and things like that. I had the liberty of showing some of your guys' team our facility, and we've got a lot going on. Today I'm just seeing if we can get any kind of financial help to see if we can continue on with our project.
What's the average rate of your 30 total jobs?
From operators, we'll start out about $21 an hour, $21 an hour.
Okay.
So, and with benefits, so up to plant managers making 130. So,
Thank you.
so far invested, we're probably at about 1.3 and expect to be at about 2.5 before June of this year. So by the time we bring our presses in, we have 2 presses in-house right now. They are leaving, going to a customer. I also own a Canadian facility that I plan to close down in the next 3 years and bring to Muncie and potentially move to 60,000 square foot building. So.
Do you have a dollar amount in mind?
What, for the building or?
Your ask
For
of
today.
us.
I mean, I'd like to, if I get some help with the expansion on the existing building, this 225, I'm already committed to Atlan Construction. It's in play. The building is on the ground. Sprinkler system's another, say 48,000. Tracy Lutton has my quotes, but if I can get somewhere in that area or whatever help I can get would be great.
So it's with the suppression system is where.
Correct. So when we bought the building, it had no infrastructure, no water, no power. We've completely upgraded the power. We put water in the building. We're building offices, adding an additional 1,000 square feet of office space in the building. So we also acquired the lot across the way, which is across the tracks there if you've ever been down there, which will be our parking lot. So we do need to do some more work to it, but you know, right now my concern is the building. Let's get the building so in June I can run these NATO parts here. So right now we've quoted one part at about $1.4 million a year, and we have 9 more parts we're quoting. So if we get all 9 of those parts, we're talking $6-7 million worth of business coming into Muncie.
Do most of your current employees live in Delaware County?
Correct. All but me, I live in Henry. So
Could have left that part out.
Moving soon.
I'm just being honest.
So how do we get you to move to Delaware? We're building houses. There you
Yeah.
go, Tracy.
I don't know. I need about 10 acres and somewhere in the county. So let's talk about it. So I can build.
So that 30 employees, starting at 21 an hour, which is about $42,000 a year, is about 1.26
Yeah.
payroll addition to the county.
Yeah, I think I filled out the paper with what I felt like my payroll would be over the next couple years. So
Is that right?
Tracy should have all that information. But yeah, you're not, and that doesn't include insurance and benefits and all that stuff, right? So
Tracy, can you distribute that to the board with a recommendation?
I think, let's go a little further.
Okay.
I think, we need an agreement. Need to produce an
Draft.
a draft agreement on his request and, what is being promised. And let's take a look at it.
I like that you're here. I like to see some economic
Thank you.
development truly come before us, but I agree with Commissioner Henry.
Sure.
I do want to see some more before we agree to anything.
absolutely. No, I'd be happy to share that. So,
Thank you.
Motion to table.
Second.
okay. All right.
All
Thank
in
you,
favor
guys.
of tabling,
Thank
please
you.
say aye.
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 Thank you.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next on the agenda is resolution 2025-18 guardrail replacement.
This is following up on last meeting. The request was for the 49,800. This is coming from the Morrison Road Economic Development area. And this guardrail is at Royerton Road, 500 North and Walnut Street. So this is just the resolution memorializing the
What we
request that
agreed
was
to.
made in-
Yeah. But this will require a shutdown of the road, if I recall properly.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Keesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yep.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Number 9, resolution 2025-19 Wildcat Park restroom.
This also follows up from last month. The request made was for 50,000, and that was what was pledged to them. This comes out of the Bell Perch Economic Development area.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Brand, second by Mr. Keesling. Roll call, please.
Mr. Keesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Okay, number 10 on the agenda is resolution 2025-20 crack and seal equipment.
Okay, this is the final one to follow up from last month. The Crack Pro 125 direct air heated was $83,112. It's coming from various TIFs, so it pulls Morrison Road, Progress Rail, Midwest Metal, and Magna allocation areas.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Henry, motion by Commissioner Brand, second by Commissioner Henry. Roll call, please.
Mr. Keesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Number 11 on the agenda, Norfolk Southern Supplemental Agreement.
This is a follow-up to the Muncie Industrial Center Trail. We're still slowly making our way through finalizing that project. I was presented this from our contact at Norfolk Southern.
we had a preliminary engineering cost estimate. They have presented this additional cost estimate saying that they have additional costs that they're going to need to fund. This is kind of one of those things where if the board does not entertain the additional $5,000, the project pretty much halts there at the railroad, so.
Is this the gap on the railroad for
Right.
Cowan? Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Brand, second by Mr. Kiesling. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yep.
Commissioner Henry,
Well, for the record, this is unbelievable and I'm sick of it, but yes.
Amen.
Duly noted.
Mr. Wiggley,
Good old railroad. Sure, let's play along.
Just keep chugging along.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Bastards.
Only they watched these meetings.
I hope
Number
they do.
12 on the agenda, Park 1 second entrance, Commissioner Brand.
Yep. So the Park One second entrance, we put that project on hold a few months ago while we were trying to figure out where the funding was coming from. I do believe now we have a path forward to fund this. We did, if you recall, agree to extend the permits in the last meeting. Those 3 permits were the IDM water main, the work that would have to be done by American Structure Point to re-put out the bid packets, and update them with all the new dates would be about $2,000. If you look at the detail of the project, we do have $2,000 in the stormwater that wasn't spent, and we could allocate those monies from the original project, $2,000, to kick this thing back off. And then the goal would be to try to get this hopefully on our January agenda. I think that's probably pretty tight because they have to go out for 30 days. So more than likely this would come back to us. Bid opening would be on the February agenda. But our decision today is, do we want to kick this back off? And if so, we need to approve $2,000 to American Structure Point, and the money is available in the stormwater line.
Let me further elaborate. The commissioners feel like that there's some money that we have available that maybe we will be able to put towards this project.
And a lot of this project, if I recall, was driven by the employers in the Park One in terms of their logistical needs to support their business as well as potential future industrial in that park.
That is correct.
That's correct. It would be a 5-month project, and the low bidder agreed to staggered payments the first time. I'm not saying that anybody would agree to the staggered payments the second time, but for the record, the first time around after they kicked off at the very first payment would be about $321,500. A month later, that would be about $440,000. A month following that, it would be about $650,000. And then the final payment upon substantial completion and final sign off would be another $1 million. So they agreed to hold the big payments until the end. And I do believe we have the money that we could stage this, and this would be a summer of next year project. So I'd make a motion to approve kicking this bid packet back off, moving the $2,000 from the stormwater line in American Structure Point's already approved money to update the bid package.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Brand, second by Mr. Kiesling. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggley,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Number 13 on the agenda is our 2026 meeting schedule.
So in the Dropbox, you'll see the document with the proposed schedule for next year. There were no holidays or interferences if we stuck to our second Thursday.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2026 schedule.
So moved.
Second,
Motion by Mr. Wiggley, second by Mr. Kiesling. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling,
yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggley,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Moving on to invoices. Any questions or comments on the invoices?
None from me. Nice job.
Motion to approve,
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kiesling, second by Mr. Wiggley. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling,
yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggley,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. We have no bond or bought invoices. We have Mara Tim and Mary Venata on public comment. You can come up to the podium, please.
Good morning. I'm Tamara Tim, and this is Mary Venata from Isaiah 117 House. It's good to see you all again. We were here a couple months ago to give you an update, and I just wanted to come back before the end of the year and give another quick update. I think at our last update, we talked about the difficulties that we were having with the utility line, as well as the water mains that were necessary in order to put the fire sprinkler system that the state has required our home to use. And so wanted to give you a quick update that that process has been taking a lot longer than we hoped. And so I did submit a request for an extension of that 12-month. That's early. We're asking for that extension early with the hope that everything will come together on time and we can still open the home early 2026. But we are unsure just because of that time frame of those waters. Mary, if you have specific questions, Mary can answer the specific questions regarding the water situation. But did just want to bring that to your attention that on our end, our home is ready as far as what we have pledged to be able to do, the things that are within our control. We are ahead of schedule with the build. We are on track financially, but without that water and we're unable to finish the house and are fearful that we are not going to be able to get the certificate of occupancy in order to get the house up and running to bring in furniture and all of the things that we're going to need to do. So it is my understanding in Delaware County that we do have to have that certificate of occupancy before moving any items in. So if there is wiggle room in that, please let me know, because that would help us move up our timeline for being able to open. If we are able to just get the home furnished and give our giving room, which is the items for the children, into the house, that's going to take a long time to get up and running after the certificate of occupancy is given if we cannot move things in sooner. So those are the reasons for the request for the extension on that timeline. Again, it's everything outside of our control right now, and there is a possibility we could be able to meet that deadline. We just wanted to be proactive in bringing this to your attention because it would be very tight going into the winter season with being able to do all the digging and everything that needs to be done with that water. So I also wanted to introduce you to Mary, who is our new location leader and will be the point of contact for this project. So I don't know if anybody has questions.
You're asking for an extension until when specifically?
Well, there is, to be honest, I have a little confusion on when that agreement date that you all have. So we first received the permit in January to do the foundation work. And then I've not seen a signed contract. But the date that I've been told is in February, but we did not receive full state permit until August 11 of 2024. So I am unclear what 12-month period we have for this project.
I believe there's already been one, if not two extensions, 1-year extensions. So we can.
did one extension, and then the other thing that we did when we modified it is made it to where
The
four
phases.
payments, they could use the money however they saw fit instead of strapping it down into each section.
That's right.
And I think I didn't bring
I didn't either.
it with me.
The additional development, addendum to the development agreement was signed in February 2024 and gave 12 months from February 24 to
Okay.
25.
Then that's the date. Okay. Then that's helpful. So I think in that agreement allows a request for a 60-day extension. And that's what I emailed, I don't have everybody's email, so sorry. So I did email that request for that 60-day extension.
So if the original extension was to February 2025, we're outside of said
Correct.
extension.
And there was a second one that was entered into.
That's the phases.
So we would
But
need to-
it may have also had some timing
I
associated
think we
with it.
also had a second time extension as well, if
so
I'm
I-
remembering
I
correctly.
guess the question then comes to what would be if we shall entertain an extension for how much longer do you need to finish?
Sure. So I can speak a little bit about water. Just this morning, I talked to the supplier. So basically, we got approval 2 weeks ago from the American Water Company to go ahead and start digging the water lines. So with winter on us, they said it would take 3 to 4 weeks to get the material in. So we're coming up on holidays. So we're looking at probably mid-January to the latter part of January before we have water in the home. Then after that, we have to move everything in, finish the plumbing. There's some inside things with security and stuff that has to be finished. So we're probably looking at 4 months or so. So if we could 4 to 6 months extension is what we're asking for.
The second one just modified the phases. It was not anything to do with
Okay.
time. So
And
the
it-
technical date is the February.
It allowed money to be moved from an earlier phase to a later phase.
Right.
So we've essentially been outside of the deadline for 10 months. Is that how I'm understanding this correctly? Correct.
So if they're asking for a 6-month extension now, we'd have to approve an extension from February of this year plus 6 months from now, right? To be legal,
Yes.
right?
And we're hoping that that goes a lot quicker. But with winter on us, there's just no guarantee when water will actually be. And there's just been so many challenges with the water company.
Is that definitively the end of everything? There are no other utility issues. It's just getting the water,
Just water
plumbing.
and the
And then move
sewer
in?
system, but they're going to run all the pipes at the same time.
And again, that's for the fire sprinklers within the home. That's where it's not just providing water to the actual home as it would be in our homes. It's because the state at this point has required our homes to have that inside fire sprinkler system. And so that's where the rub has come in with getting that piece of it to the property.
And that was the cause of the initial delay, was the state making a decision. It was not on Isaiah House. The state
They-
was very slow in giving them a decision on whether they had to have the fire suppression system.
They've received all the money at this point, correct?
Yes.
That's correct. Build for it.
I get the situation, and I know that was probably a weird decision for the state because it is just a home, but so I kind of get all that. I also worry that if it's, I mean, next week it's supposed to get down in single digits or below. I don't think anyone's going to want to open up a water main with it that cold, and that could potentially go on until March, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to giving an extension. I mean, I think, be quite honest with you, June would be appropriate in my mind.
Yeah. June 12th is a Friday,
Yeah.
and that's basically 6 months from today. And then, as it relates to you asking if we'll let you move stuff in early, that's not the purview of this board. You would need to speak to the fire inspector, the health department, and the building commissioner. Those 3 folks would have to allow you to move in specific items ahead of a certificate of occupancy. We don't have the authority to do that.
To know who to go to is great.
So I'll make a motion to extend to June 12th, 2026.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I was gonna
sorry.
just go to June 30th because December is gone. I mean, from holidays and the weather, I think clean 6 months. I mean, it's semantics on those 2 weeks. I'm not gonna die on the hill, but I was
Yeah.
just thinking end of June.
June 30th is a Tuesday. Just FYI.
You good
July
with-
1st
you
is a
good with
Wednesday?
that?
Yeah, June, I'll amend my motion, to extend till June 30th of 2026.
Okay, June 30th.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Brand, second by Mr. Wiggerly. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Wrigley,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes.
Will you please keep us up to date
Absolutely.
on progress? I've been by it and looked at it a few times. I mean, it does look like there is some progress happening there, but please come back and kind of give us some updates if you don't mind.
We
will.
Open as
Yes.
much as you do.
Yeah, our children need this home, and I would
I-
love
I
to show
know.
you
I
guys
know
the
they do.
house. So please let me know, and I'll take you for a tour anytime.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you, Mary.
Would anyone else from the public wish to speak? Okay, seeing none, do we have any comment from the commission?
None from me.
Merry Christmas.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year,
Happy
and
New
I
Year.
will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, see you next year.